Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing, testing.
CieloDrive.com Audio Archives.
I want to apologize, first of all, to, remember I said in the hall there about I talked to your mother? I got hold of your mother about 4 months ago. I don't know where you were at the time, but a girl was killed on Mulholland Drive. And she was a Jane Doe, unidentified, for about a month or a month and a half. So I went out to the ranch and I talked with Ruby Pearl and with, I remember the guy's name now that was out there. No, it wasn't one. It was the other guy. Larry Craig? No, somebody else. Anyway, they said the Ella-Jo has been missing. We haven't seen her in a long time. Maybe that girl that was in the paper is the same girl. So I contacted the state police back there. I ran back to the family. Anyway, I did assure them that it wasn't you. Once I found out about you, because I found out you didn't have a mole on your rear. And that was the big thing. That's Charlie Green?
Yeah.
And he went to breakfast that morning?
I believe so.
He was at least living, you know, she was living in the ranch at that time. We just have what? Why did Green? No problem. Was there
That's what I knew him as, Chuck Green.
No, we don't know. That's why we're just, his name's popped up here all of a sudden. Now, let me ask you this, did anybody else talk about what happened in the human place other than the people?
Everybody talked about it that was on the ranch.
Right.
But I heard it specifically from all those people because Bill and I were the only ones up when Sadie and Mary came back. Talked to them first, right after they had left him in town. Bob and I went on an errand, together, and we talked about it. I remember that really so clear because Bob was really upset, He was just really quiet and not himself, And I talked with Bruce about it because I was pretty, I would say I was closest to Bruce than anyone, but I wrote to him while I was in Europe. I knew Bruce real well. We talked about it. I wanted to hear from everybody exactly what happened because, I don't feel like I'm responsible, but, I was closer, I knew Gary better than anybody else.
Yep.
As far as the girls, I wanted to know what happened.
Well, now, can you remember that Mr. Katz has asked here, and we're going to give you a chance on the rest, believe me. Was it the things that you've told us that you remember Charlie saying, that you remember Bruce saying, that each of them saying, that you do remember them saying those things? Fine. That's basically what we want to know, isn't it? That those are vivid recollections, or at least recollections. Let me ask you this, just very quickly, two more questions. Is there any specific reason why you left the ranch?
True.
Was there? How much longer? 5 minutes, Jane.
I was really afraid because obviously we didn't get any, we the family. There was no benefit from Gary's death, That's pretty hard to understand, I was really scared, because there were so many guns around. It wasn't, the scene that had happened for a year, almost a year and a half that I had lived with him, And I'm sure each of us saw the changes coming down. I saw Charlie, hit some of the girls at various times because of some little thing that wouldn't be important to anybody else that to him was really important, I don't want to be hit, I didn't want to be hit, and I certainly didn't want to be killed. And I had never been sent out to, rip off a car or go get a motor or hot parts or something like that, you know. And I just didn't want anything more to do with it. Neither did Bill. He certainly didn't want to.
Were you afraid to
become
leave?
involved. I was afraid that, you know, that eventually, you know, Charlie would say, okay, you didn't go to the Hinman murder, but it's time that you accomplish what everybody else has done. You know, Bill told me that Charlie had, you know, directly spoken to him and said, you know, like, other schemes were planned, you know, they tried to, they were going to try and get money from the casino just over the hill from, you know, Encini, you know, on top of that ride. And there was talk about there were going to be more and more of these things. Some of the girls had gone out on capers.
Was
you
there
know,
talk
I just
about
never had.
Charlie
But I didn't
Manson?
want to.
Was there talk by Charlie Manson about going up to Terry Melcher's? Or talk about getting something from Terry Melcher's?
Sure, definitely there was. You know, Terry had said that he was going to come and record music at the ranch.
Was there any specific talk as to where Terry Melcher lived?
We thought he lived down by Malibu. He said at one time that we were welcome to come down to his place by the beach, you know, across from the beach, directly across from the beach, and he had horses down there or something.
Was there any talk, Ella, about getting anybody at the place where he formerly lived in Benedict Canyon?
No.
That you heard of?
Yeah, no.
Just one last question. So, do you think Bill was afraid of Charlie?
Afraid of Charlie?
Bill's pretty big, isn't he?
Yeah, he's big.
And your impression would be that physically, unless there was something wrong with the situation, that Bill could handle himself pretty well with respect to Charlie, is that right?
Yeah, except Bill is slow and Charlie's quick.
Yeah.
You know, Bill, I don't believe Bill's afraid of Charlie physically, but I believe Bill's afraid of Charlie, you know, because of his mind, maybe. I believe, you know, like Bill and I talked about it a lot, you know, since I was with Bill. Bill didn't want to have anything to do with any killing, you know. And I was afraid that, you know, that I would have to go, you know, and do something I didn't want to do.
So did you ask Bill to
And
get
so
you out
was
of there?
Bill, you know.
Did you just ask Bill to get you out of there?
I don't think I ever asked him really just like that. Bill asked me one day as we got into a truck to go do an errand, do you want to leave the ranch? And I said, yeah. And or he asked me in the morning, do you want to leave the ranch? And we waited for the opportunity because he knew he was going to be sent to do something with one of the trucks. And when he was, everyone won. So we just kept on going.
Okay, you were busted in the fever, right? What about Bill?
Yeah. He wasn't busted for anything. I was busted for and I had the credit card that we had used. So he didn't have any money to pay the bill. He didn't know anybody in Cleveland, neither did I, you know, otherwise we would have been staying where we were. The idea was to get $20 and, you know, just rent a place for a week and get a job so we could go, you know, down to Florida. And he came to see me about 10 minutes before I was transferred. And he came under the name that we had used on the credit cards, and actually they knew it was the fellow I had been with. And that's the last I saw him when I was in a little room. The detectives brought him in and said, I want you to identify this man. At first, you know, played really dumb, but it obviously wasn't working. And they had come in under that name. You know. So he said,
how long ago?
We know who this is, you know, see my phone.
How long ago was that?
Hmm?
How long ago?
It was late August last year. But the last I saw him, see, because I was taken out to the Women's Correctional Home, and my mom came and got a writ from the judge and released me. I was released from her custody, and I went directly out of the courtroom into the car and to Michigan.
Bruce?
Yeah, that's just about all that she said originally, that I think that Bruce said. He described to you what had happened, and then he told you that he held the gun. That was in addition to what everyone else had said.
Do you want anything in particular?
Well, I was just wondering, can you tell us who was the first one, without telling the conversation, who was the first of the participants in the crime committed by the crime?
They were married together, you know, because they both knew. But I heard, you know, some of this stuff before because of the phone call and telling Lucy back.
And Mr. Russell, the date of the
conversation with Bruce and with that event, in connection with the return to the ranch, within 1 day or 2 days or a month. In other words, you know Bruce Davis left to go to the ranch and travel, and you were in that ranch. Right. And they returned sometime, and sometime after that, you had a talk with Bruce where he told you what he was doing. The day after. Possibly the day after.
Sadie.
Before they left, you know, they were getting dressed, and I wasn't with them while they were getting dressed, but before they left the ranch, I knew that those two were going to go. They both not comfortable, they were going to go. Sadie was really excited.
Sadie told you before that she was going to go to the Hinman house.
What did you say?
Told me that she was going to go, and I, you know, said I'm glad that she was not leaving, and I was afraid that Kelly would be for me.
When you officially decided how to get
Like she was going to that stuff.
and how to dress with them.
Then did she go into what she did when she got up to the house after she came back?
Yeah.
When she came back, what was she driving, or what car was she in? And this is Hinman's Volkswagen bus. And at this time, she tells you, in conjunction with Mary, of what happened up at the Hinman house.
What did you say? Something that happened.
Well, first, you know, like Mary and I talked about sitting with this man, and I went inside briefly. They both came inside the bathroom house, you know. Mary and Phil and I talked about what had happened there. They both, you know, told us about how they had taken care of Gary after Charlie because about the fighting state that had with Gary and about that about it written in their political opinion whether they had gone there Gary had been
Did Sadie tell you who killed Mr. Hinman?
both men both of them, you know, at different times. Some questions were pretty terrible about it. After Gary had quieted down and
Did she ever tell you, by the way, Sadie or Mary, about the words that they used, or that Bobby used when he killed him?
Well, I think they said something about time, but I don't,
Now, without putting words into your mouth, does anything like this sound familiar to you? I'm your brother, you deserve to die.
yeah, that, you know, but that was, you know, like, the last,
Did you ever hear anybody use those words or words similar?
yeah, I'm sure I did, but I don't know who said it, because, the gospel is about what happened, you know,
Okay, let's go on now to Mary for.
Well, wait a minute, I think
Go ahead.
you say that Sadie told you that somehow Hinman got a hold of the gun and fired the gun twice. Now, did you call it? Okay, they told you she was holding the gun. Now, do you remember whether or not she told you the gun is charged in the struggle over the gun, or whether the gun was purposely fired as it's being pointed at it?
I think that, you know, that
Gary had managed to try to stop. Gary had tried to get it down a while.
So you left by the house? Or where the bullet at?
Yeah, I know I heard where it was going.
Do you know whether or not Mary Bruner told you anything with regard to the number of shots being fired, or you remember this, what you recall from the case?
I believe so.
We're going now to Mary. Did Mary make any statements before she went to the head of the house? Did Mary come back in a vehicle to the ranch? Okay. And when Mary comes back, she tells the same story that Sadie tells? Was there any contradictions between the two stories? When Mary left, how was Mary dressed? Would it be what you call creepy crawlers, or the dark clothing and all that? By the way, do you know what kind of a gun that you said
I believe it.
they took up there?
I don't know the technical name, but if I saw the gun, I know if it was the one that opened it over the...
You would recognize the gun?
I'm sorry, what before?
This what yesterday you called a sword or a dagger. You kept using the words interchangeably.
Yeah, it's just...
Would you recognize that sword if you ever saw it again?
Yeah, I believe I would.
Could you describe the sword to us? Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I can figure that out. It's on her out. What about the 2 feet total length, or 18 inches?
What kind of a handle? Was there anything specific here about where you grabbed it?
Well, you know, it had a grip on it, but I don't know if it had, where you put it.
Was there anything about where you grabbed it?
Probably too much this.
One question for you see a lot of these old movies that have this long stuff in their stores. Was this one was long stores? Was it shorter? And with regard to the family, was there some form of belief around it?
I don't know.
Well, when Mary came back, you and Mary wiped the fingerprints down off of the Volkswagen bus. And that's when you hid it in the bushes. Bobby Mousselet. Did you see him leave the ranch to go to Hinman's house? Did you see him just prior to it?
Yeah, I saw him before. I know.
Did Bobby tell you he was going to Hinman? How was he dressed?
But when it was, to me, it wasn't like, it didn't necessarily have to be alone, but I know.
How was he dressed? Dark clothing?
Yeah, nothing black.
After Bobby came back, you had a conversation with Bobby. That's when you and Bill were with him. Okay. And at this time, he runs down the same story to you that you originally got from Sadie and Mary and everyone else. And he tells you at that time.
Gary was quiet in the environment,
Bobby told you though that he stabbed Gary. And did he tell you whose directions it was under? Or did you just assume that?
I know Bobby said that,
Did you ever see a Fiat station wagon with the engine sticking out? Did you ever drive in the car? Did you ever drive in the car as a passenger? You said, Ella, that you left a couple of days after the Hinman killing, is that right? Did you ever hear Charlie tell Bousselet or Mary or Sadie to take the car down and get rid of it? You told me originally that you were going to drive the car.
About Volkswagen buses taking me in out of the town, because we're the sweeper down from the canyon there.
Yeah.
We're going to drive to Santa Barbara. And Mary was pretty impressed with the car that he was the dash to the ranch installment first place, because those cars have been up at the ranch before, especially the Volkswagen bus.
But you never heard.
About getting rid of them, but I don't know about
Did you hear Charlie say get rid of the Volkswagen?
No, but I know the idea was to get money for them to sell them. General was taking them down.
Did you ever hear Charlie or Bruce talk about getting rid of the gun that was used at the house? How about the knife that Bobby used? Do you ever know what happened? Why did the gun on the knife? Did you ever hear that?
No, I don't believe that. I believe that one of the girls is probably a cat. That's how they do it.
Going back to
I
Charlie.
noticed the gloves and things like that.
The gloves they wore when? Okay, and how do you know those were the gloves that they wore in the house? Who told you?
Like the shirt that Mary wore, tie-back shirt, but I used to like finish myself most of my clothes.
Did Bobby tell you this? Now, you told us yesterday that Charlie said to Gary Hinman, you might as well cooperate because you're going to die. In substance, that's what he was saying. Okay. And did you say something about... No, we talked about $27 yesterday. Who said that they got $27? Okay, you told us also that Charlie said that we got $27 and his cards. Okay. How about?
All right, good. Let me ask you this. In regard to talking to Bobby today, how did you say he killed Gary Hinman? Did he tell you through the night? And at the time that he was talking to you, do you know whether or not he was wearing a knife? Yeah. I'm sorry. Did you ever notice him carry a knife on his head?
Yeah.
Did you ever pay any particular attention to any kind of knife when actually something very another?
Yeah.
And where did you see this knife?
On the back up. It was, girls used to do a lot of yeah, Bobby used to clear off that night because of the
Can you describe the knife to us that Bobby had? If you saw the knife, would you recognize it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, now let me just go through complications just to get some time. So, the first person you talked to, as I understand it, is what happened in the house. We're talking about the parking. Now, would have been probably very close to that, right? Between that and both right? Is that right? And we're talking about Gary Hinman, both right? You're just out of your head, I think. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. And you helped Mary park at the tree near the outlaw shack, the bunkhouse. All right. That's in a long run to a little bit of day. All right. And when you and Mary parked the Volkswagen Michael gun in whatever it was, that you live you. So it's fair to say then that Mary would have been the first one to talk to in regard to the
No, it's, before we parked the, but she had that trouble, driving it, I don't know, but she did, and, she just left it outside, right outside the, back ranch house for me, and, Bill and I, went out and talked to Jane and Mary, and they both came in the house, got them and talked about, sold stuff, and that's finally, they know that it was the clothes that they had on, and, that's what I thought.
And you, at that time, you helped to wipe down the microbus. Did you do that without moving the microbus?
Yeah,
Right. Then you remove the fingerprints and then you go. Now, shortly after that, the police come and take some field interrogation of course of various persons at the ranch.
real shortly after that, I turned around, Mary was gone, and I thought, well, she had been killed, except I wasn't going to get done, so, I was finished up, and when I went back to
Now, when you became aware of the fact that the police arrived in that, what time of day?
It was really late. Everybody else was asleep, so I know it was pretty late.
Did you say late because it's often been, in other words, in the early morning hours? And sometime after that, during that day, later in the day, did you then talk with Bruce and Bobby both the way? So in other words, within a 24-hour period, if you would have talked to Charlie Manson, Bruce Davis, Mary Bruner, and Bruce Manson during the interview.
Okay. Now, do you also know, Ella Jo, and just quick, that we are going to ask you as part of what Mr. Katz and Mr. Deutsch are saying, that we are going to expect you to testify for us as policemen in Mr. Hinman's case against Bruce Davis, against Sadie Atkins, and against Charlie Manson. You understand that? And you're willing to do that for the concessions that Mr. Deutschman and Mr. Katz make. Is that right?
But enough to ask you one thing, Ella. I know that certain one thing to ask you, but do you ever doubt in your mind Charles Manson and David testified to this? They wouldn't believe or whichever way it falls. And as a attempt to hurt our case, it's appropriate because we don't want to use it. And you're willing to tell the truth with what you saw. That's the conversation we had with all these people and the very observations we made of the process.
Go through? We got one more. When you hear that the police are coming and you move the Volkswagen back to the eucalyptus trees, you have a key to the car. Right. How do you start the Volkswagen? Do you happen to know whether she had a key to it or not? From now on, all your dealings will be with Sergeant Hubert here on it. I'll keep in contact with him, and I'll be the one that will meet you at the airport. I'll send the money to Mr. Sergeant Hubert to put you on the airplane, and I'll meet you at the other end. Finish?
You have a place to stay here, but you've got a couple of possibilities. You got to do anything now.